What's up guys, Nightingale here, and welcome back to the Beginner's Handbook. Yeah, this is probably doesn't need to be here, but I'm putting it here because I want everybody to be able to have access to this video, and, well, not that you can't go check it out in the other ones, but this, because I specifically want to make sure that beginners understand where this belongs. That's kind of the main reason why we're doing this. What are we talking about today is Ancient Inheritance, the new guild content brought in. Now, you're probably going to say, but it's over. Why are we talking about this now? Why didn't you do this 2 weeks ago? It was new content. We needed to figure it out. And I wanted to have my opinion so that I can help you guys out for the next Ancient Inheritance, which is to be determined. If we go back to a video that was done from Smilegate, I believe it was the Korean video, they're having an interview and they talk about Ancient Inheritance and they relate it to the same type of content as Advent Side Story, which is once a quarter. So expect this to be a quarterly event just like Advent Side Story, which actually for us should be coming up here soon. Yeah, we haven't had it in a while. So that's due up here very soon. I'm going to say, if I had to take a guess, that's probably right after the collab coming. But today we're talking about Ancient Inheritance and all of the good, the bad, the ugly, and how to do things. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk to you about how to set this up and kind of go over the overview of the game mode. So Ancient Inheritance is a guild PvE content where you and your entire guild can play and enjoy this cool kind of player versus experience content, which is cool. It also has, I think, a really unique function of the ranking board of the first people to come through and beat it. Cool, I like that. That gives competition for higher end players to compete to beating certain floors. That's cool. You've got main rewards, which are one-off rewards for the event to get really high-end gear. 88 gear is the equivalent of 90 gear. It's already reforged, so you're going to get max stats out of this thing. Okay, you're going to get max stats, meaning it's already reforged stats when it rolls. So pretty cool stuff. We're actually working on the 4th boss, which you will see here in a little bit, as long as they don't down it between me starting this video and the time I get to it. There is also an exchange shop. Now, I'll cover this in the good, the bad, and the ugly later, but for right now, let's just cover about the shop itself. You're going to have a couple pieces of gear, which is also really good. Great Soul Weaver gear. The greater modification gem chest is really cool. I'm glad that they started doing this. I think this needs to be a reward for more things. Because it's not just a, oh, you can only get this set or this set chest and you can select out of it. It's a anything chest. I really like this because for me, I'm really lacking on some lifesteal pieces. I'm lacking on, I think there's a couple revenge pieces, even though I get the revenge ones. But this is really good because it allows you to personally be able to choose what you're working on. So if you're spending more on that, great. Keep these coming, Smilegate. That's great. Molagors, thank you. More Molagors, the better, because this is like liquid gold. Covenant Summons, cool. Greater and Epic Artifact Charms. Now, I personally have a sweet spot for these. I love these. I don't necessarily love the price. I feel like these are a little expensive for what I've been doing, and again, I will cover that later. Gifts of Success. This is a little bit sus. But I understand why they're here. But this is kind of like one of those bait things, and then Artifact Charms to finish things off. Now, as far as the currency, I did not read up if this is going to change or if the currency is going to stay the same as they go through these. But as of right now, Ancient Dream Shard is the currency of this one. I plan on spending out, completely zeroing out, depending on what we've got. So we'll see when we make the next video. I will do one more as an update. Once we see the new Ancient Inheritance, I'll go over some things that may or may not have changed depending on what they say in the patch notes when that shows up. But for now, we're going to talk about it like this so that you at least have the idea. Now, there is a button here to simplify members, which this is basically if you have lower end devices, you click this and it simplifies the members so that they're not actually moving and taking up, memory and bandwidth if you are struggling. So let's talk about Ancient Inheritance and the overall interface here. So as you can see, we are on floor 4 and it is at percent health. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to jump on this hopefully here in a minute and it's not dead. But the way to progress is, at least as of right now, we've seen a little bit of both. We've seen players come in and pick up multiple different heroes, using off your best, using the cool units that you really like, and it came down to that some of the ones of us that went specifically into 2 classes ended up doing better and performing better. And this is due to, I think, a flawed system. So the class leveling system was a really cool idea, but by the way it works, you are better off to just shove everything into 2 classes. In my case, warriors are the most beneficial PvE units in the game. And then soul weavers, because of cleansing and CR pushes and just heals in general when you can, is very vital to a couple of the fights and allowing you to go further. I know some people went soul weaver assassin, or not soul, warrior assassin. I know some people went warrior mage and soul weavers, but I think the more you spread out your resources here, as of right now, the worse this becomes. I think that they need to change some things and maybe rebalance this, but for right now, here it is. So you have the ability to enlist heroes, and as you get, which is very vital to note right here, is as you level up, you gain more heroes to level up, as well as more daily provisions, as well as class enhancement ingredients acquired. So the max level right now is 15, is what it looks like. I don't think there's anything below this, or else it would show up. At least that's the way I would look at it, but I am 11 and it still hasn't gone any further down, but it's 15 for right now. And the leveling system is not bad for the time frame. I don't necessarily like the way they've set some stuff up, but again, we'll cover more of that in the good, bad, and the ugly of this. Right now, I have a max number of 6 relics. Relics are things that you walk around and pick up. We'll be able to try to show you some of this stuff on the floor. Right now, I'm able to carry 26 heroes. So let's talk about the enlist function. Now, the text is already gone, but I want to talk about this right now because I can't tell you how many people did this not realizing what actually happened. Now, I think this needs to change. I think it needs to reset weekly. This is a 2-week long event, and I personally think you are able to take out a max of 8 heroes throughout the event. I personally believe this needs to be a weekly reset and not a one-off pull out 8 units. Because sometimes there comes to a point where in the early stages, you're trying to figure out what units work better or not for the content you have. And since there are 4 floors, I personally think that needs to be changed. But you know what? In the end, 26 heroes is still a good bit of information to go over with. And you can see I've picked up a bunch of different random heroes. Now, the cool thing here for beginners, and this is something that some people don't realize, take note right now of that Kawazu. He has 4-star, unawakened, and there's LQC, who is 6-star, with 5 plus 5 in her molas. Shooting Star Acades is also 4-star, unawakened, no molas. This is the really cool thing that some players didn't grasp. They think that they had to have built units. You don't. If we go over here to Hero Info, they make sure that you get a 6-star plus 15 version of your Kawazu so that your stats get balanced. Now, here's the cool thing as well. Gear isn't as important. Now, yes, it helps because I have a lot higher ER on my ML Ken than I should if I didn't have him built the way he's built. So in this case, just having the set or the set bonuses is more beneficial to you than actually having the plus 15. Yes, he would technically have more stats, marginally more stats, but it's not that big of a difference. You're talking minimalistic difference, so for beginners, just making sure that it says this speed, whether it's speed set or lifesteal set or whatever free sets you can throw on these units, getting set bonuses is more advantageous, and artifacts do work as well here. Obviously, the better your leveled artifacts are, the better you're going to be, but I can't tell you how many of my units are sitting here with not leveled up artifacts just to have the bonus of the artifact. So this is a really great concept, which also makes me think that they can do other things. And here you go. If you click this button, it'll tell you exactly what is going on here. So all heroes stats will be adjusted to that of their 6-star fully awakened plus 15 skill counterparts. Heroes will have completed their specialty change and will also have their runes plus 30. So if anything has a specialty change or doesn't have a specialty change, we'll have it here, which is really, really cool. Stats from artifacts will be adjusted to some point. Their skill effects will remain intact. So meaning you're not going to get everything exactly out of it, how it reads on your thing, but it will be working here. The main stat and substat of equipments will be adjusted at some point. Their set effects will remain intact. This is what I was saying. So if you're running a speed set with HP, you're still getting the speed set bonus and the HP bonus getting added into your stats. Exclusive equipments will be adjusted at some point, or to some point, and while their skills and effects will remain intact. So I believe this is where they're saying they're basically giving you the max amount of it. It's just you're going to have whatever the proc is and whatever the main skill is. It'll do it. So for new players, don't feel like you've been playing for a few weeks or a few months when this finally rolls around again and you're going, but I don't really have that many units. Throw everything you've got in here at that point for if you're a brand new player and just use what you've got. It's fine. You will still do better than you think you will do. And that's really, really cool, especially if you play and you play with thought. So the enlistment thing is really easy. Every time you level up, you get 2 free slots. Cool. I worked on, I got some soul weavers and I got mostly warriors because typically it's a 3-to-1 ratio when I'm running a fight. Now, let's jump in and actually talk about the map and, well, actually, let's go ahead and talk about the relics. So I haven't had the ability due to, with how time constraints were, I didn't have the ability to go get that final relic, which could probably help me out in the long run. But as you level up, you're able to go and pick up relics and exchange relics, which is really cool. I like this system. There's just not enough time in the game, I think personally, to utilize this relic system to its fullest potential because, again, with where we're at, we're down to the wire. And I had to do a lot of bodying on some of these wardens to get things done. But thankfully the guilds come together and we are really pushing really hard right here at the end. You can also see your hero info here is another way to get to it. So you can check in on stuff. And again, here's my shooting star Katie's completely. She has base level gear, literally just blank +0 gear sitting on her. And yeah, she's a little slow, but I don't think I even had a speed boot I could throw on her. So that's why she's slow, or else she'd have better speed stat here. But yeah, a +15 shooting star Katie's that I don't have on my account. So let's talk about the map. The map is really cool. It shows basically what's been explored. The super, super dark. Again, it's going to be determining on your brightness of your screen, but the super, super dark right in here has not been explored. The dark has been explored, but you haven't. And then the lighter is based off of like doorways and junctions that are like blockways. It lets you see that. And then of course, this is what is classified as explored for me, is also this lighter block. You've got a cool legend over here that tells you everything you need to know about what is what, which is also a really cool function because it's a great key to be able to see what's going on. And like I said, floor number 4, we're rushing to get this. So you can't see them now, but there were 4 pink skull-like icons that signified the wardens. Our wardens are already dead, but they were sitting in these bottom 4 corners here, right in the middle, and you have to kill them in order to go to the center boss, and you're allowed to teleport at that point. We'll cover, again, some of the functionalities here in a few minutes. Now, the way to progress, I personally believe here was Warrior Soul Weaver in the beginning. You do have statues around that give you rank ups. Now, they are limited. You have 5 number of guild uses, meaning there's only 5 people on this floor that can hit this one totem. Is that fair? Maybe, depending on what's going on. This might be the real way to get your 3rd class, is by going down the floors. You're power leveling 1. And then you're using the totems as another one. If you can coordinate this, there's a lot of coordination that's really involved here. You've got standard loot chests, which give you random rewards, EXP, and that extra currency. As you can see, that's why my currency is lower, because I have been having to skip these. These cost 5 stamina each. Kind of expensive, especially when you're trying to really rush things. This is where you get your relics from. These are the relics chests, and really cool. I really like the design of this and how this concept works. I'm really excited to see the next one. You've got normal monsters, which honestly, these are kind of pointless to farm. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Once you get past a couple of the first floor or two, you have real no need to even be bothered with this. Especially with how they've divided up the content, I'm not really sure. Here's like side quests for lore. You've got, this one was the Totem of Knowledge, which is just experience in general. Some of this stuff was just pointless because of how your stamina works. And if you're a smaller guild with very active members, you probably can't spend the time running around doing this. But if you have a lot of big carries, you might be able to do this. Even we didn't have the ability to really fully explore this. Recovery statues are very, very important, but this is number of uses per guild, which does kind of suck. So you can't just sit here and infinitely sit on these things and, you know, because this is what I ended up doing one day. I came here and I worked on beating this guy actually that was sitting right here. I called it a gatekeeper, but it was just an elite monster. Because I referred to it as gatekeeper, the wardens, and then the floor boss is the way I refer to the 3 different monsters. Is a gatekeeper is just literally blocking you from a warden. The wardens are blocking you from the floor boss. That's my logic. Use it if you want. But I came back here and I ended up using this once so that I could get daily damage done to this guy so that I could do the best we could. Up here at the little shield player icon allows you to check in on your guild and see kind of what is everybody doing, and you can tell who is not playing the game based upon this. So you can keep a track of, you know, who's screwing off and who's actually paying attention here. It's cool. I like this. And then you have the bell icon, which is where events tells you what's gone on, who's done what. As you can see, eliminated elite monster, eliminated elite monster. I was busy that day. And this is also where you get your rewards when it's complete. You will come here and you'll click here and get your rewards. So, what we're gonna do for the video is I'm gonna now show you one of the fights real quick. So this is functionality. You have to read a lot here. And a lot of players just jump in and say, screw it. They don't pay attention or they don't go in all the way. So when you click on the enemy's, whatever it is, icon, you come up to this page. Now, you really need to make sure you pay attention. Pay attention to its type. That's important because whether it's ice, dark, it means you may want to look at elemental advantage stuff. And then make sure you take the time to read its skills. The skills are very important, and notice everything about this is the key thing. So, go through its skills. Of course, I've already read them. This is floor 4, so some of you may not even ever see this boss, so you're actually going to get to see it firsthand. Check out what all of it does. Of course, like I said, we did this yesterday, so I've got the flick, and I don't want to waste your time reading this off. This is pretty much the instant kill when you get to this skill. This is where everybody's units are dying off. And it's rare I think this is more for revive units, if you have anything that revives. And then the most important thing, I cannot stress this enough because I can't tell you how many people said, wait, why can't I def break or why can't I X to this unit? They didn't read the immunity info. This is so vital to read. Check this on every single fight you do. Because some are immune to defense breaks, some are immune to other types of buffs or things like, or other types of debuffs. So do take note so that you don't get caught off guard, because the warden, or I think it's as I call them, the gatekeepers typically you couldn't def break, the wardens you could. And you can on this guy as well. So you had to bring comps based around, okay, can I do enough damage without the defense break? Instead of solely relying on defense breaks, which is a pretty common PvE trick. Defense break it dies. In this case, these things are still tanky enough, not a single defense break is not killing one of these things. So this is really cool. I like that, you know, you can get access to this without even being near the boss. You can check this at any point in time, and you can check it on any monster. I think I can do this right here. So if we go to this guy, we click view, I click his thing, there you go. He's immune to provoke, sleep, silence, and redirect provoke. Then it also goes here and you can see his skills, what is he going to be doing, you can see that he's ice. So do make sure you pay attention to all of the monsters that you plan on attacking and read before you attack. Super, super vital. Just while I'm here talking about it, these monsters have 3 HP bubbles, which means 3 separate fights are taken to before this monster is defeated. So if you're wondering what those HP things are, that is what it's related to. Okay, so the icons you're also seeing here, just while we're talking about it, is showing that there are multiple people standing in this one spot, and you can see who is standing in your core, or in your hexagon right here. You're able to move. This is how you navigate, is between the yellow is telling you where you can go. So in one click movement, you can travel those blocks here. As one thing I'm just gonna point out while we're here, for something for Smilegate to fix, is this foot, or this hexagon, also needs to be clickable and not just this one. Both of these need to be clickable because it's really annoying that there are 2 hexagons here and you cannot click this one to bring up this menu as well. So there is one of the bad things to point out. So we're gonna jump in and we're gonna do some damage to this thing, and I'm going to use we are going to use my Suicide Squad team for this one. Now, I call this Suicide Squad because of, I won't bring a Soul Weaver to this specific fight. So this one we did, ML Ken. We brought, Infernal Kawazu, which is gonna go here, and we're gonna bring Apocalypse Ravi. So this one doesn't have defense breaks. I probably shouldn't waste this, but we've got enough HP taken down on this that I know I can kill this thing later today. I'm pretty sure this all died at the same time yesterday, so I don't think it really matters where they're at. So we'll go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt, since they are technically the 2 biggest damage carries. So as you can see here, it's going to cost 7 of my 78 provisions to do this. You're also seeing that this is normal CP, as a million CP is only normal. I was definitely hitting the green. I can't remember what it says. Great, good, whatever, easy or normal, or I don't remember what the green one says. It's not weak though. I've seen some people with weak. You can also see your elimination reward here. What are we gonna get? We're gonna get 500 of these dream shards. We're gonna get this really awesome HP neck. We're gonna get one of those greater chests, as well as experience. So let's jump in and do the fight. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna start on auto or not. Also, it shows you here, right here, this is the order of the skills that they're gonna go off. And like I said, that skill right there is instant kill. There's no surviving this skill, at least that I've ever found. On every single one of these floor bosses, this is instant kill. So let's go ahead, jump in. This message right here is also something that can be a little confusing to new players. I can't tell you how many players in the beginning clicked this and they're like, oh, I'm not getting anything, I don't need to attack. And then they went off and did their own thing. All this is saying is you're not gonna get anything extra for doing this fight. So it's not like you're gonna get increased rewards, but still, if we set you guys up in a team and we send you to a place and we say, go attack this, we literally mean, go make sure this thing dies. Don't just tap it once and walk away, which we had happen on a couple floors because, again, not paying attention to, oh, I don't want this. And so, of course, obviously I don't want this to show up. So here we go. Let's make sure auto is off. Not that it matters. Lilius is still gonna do her S3. So this boss is quite annoying, and he's a very, very thick boy. Let's just put it that way. So we're gonna go ahead and get our Vigor buff off so that Infernal Kawazu has access to his Vigor S3, because we're not gonna get attacked here. And let's see here. So you're gonna notice every time we hit attack, he's going to get CR pushed. And a lot of these bosses, it's a very common mechanic where they, everything CR pushes, everything attack increases, everything is going to be getting harder and harder and harder, to the point where these things are hard lapping you. There's no way you can keep up. Even on some of my revenge sets, they are still hard lapping me. Where I'm doing like 240 speed with the stats that I have, I'd be 240 at some points, and I'm like, you're still blowing by me. Alright, so let's go in here and get the extra 2 burns and detonates and chip away at him. Alright, so there we go. There's some extra damage. We're gonna get poisoned, and that's fine. Our passives are about to be shut off here on this turn 2, which is fine. Conqueror Lilius is here to make sure. The reason I call this Suicide Squad is because no matter who I pull, it's bringing damage. which is very, very, very vital here. So we're gonna go in with ML Ken. Please defense break for everybody. Thank you, ML Ken, for doing your job. And this is why I really, really like having ML Lilius here for this, is it does allow for the extra damage ticks, and anything extra that she brings is great, because if I had a Soul Weaver here, I can bet my entire life savings she's bringing the Soul Weaver. All right, Ravi come in and do a little extra damage. Now, again, they're sealed, which means they're passives. Technically, you should have a cleanser here, but I've got multiple teams, and like I said, this is Suicide Squad. They are going in to die. Also, that's also why I brought ML Ken, is because ML Ken has such enormously high ER because of my ER ML Ken. He can't be debuffed. And if he is debuffed, it's typically one of them. So let's go in, and I only have 1 vigor, so there's no, I would reset it here, so there's no point in doing that. ML Lilius is dead. The soul burn is probably best on a Ravi at this point, so just to get any extra big chunk damage. And this should be the last. We got 1 more skill. So this will kill most everything except for a Ravi and ML Ken. Thankfully, a lot of these elite monsters have 100% crit rate, so ML Ken's, while he's not sealed, is totally countering everything. And this should be instant death. I shouldn't survive any of these. Yep, there we go. So there is one of my attacks. You can see I gain a little bit of EXP. That's the only thing you gain here. And in my 5 attacks, I'm now number 2 in its ranking. I will, after the video, come in and finish whatever I haven't done. But basically, let me show you this, because now that it's there, you can only use the units once, which is why those recovery towers exist. Now, I can no longer use these for today. Also now for the rest of the event, in this case. But I now have plenty of units. I can go in and make more teams and do it, and come up with cool combinations. So you really have to sit and think about your units. Make sure you understand their kits. Make sure that you understand if it has a passive, if it's sealing. So is the passive important? In this case, the passive for Kawazu and a Ravi didn't matter here, because I was triggering Vigor already with Conqueror Lilius, so it doesn't matter if he loses the ability to get Vigor at that point. And then a Ravi, I don't need the extra tick damage from her, because nobody's gonna be dying in order for her passive to go up, so it's just raw damage anyway. ML Ken had high enough ER, I knew he shouldn't be able to take the seal. No monster here yet has been able to actually debuff him. After, I think, floor 1, once I got him leveled, once I started getting leveled up enough, nothing was able to debuff ML Ken that I've seen so far. So effectiveness isn't massively high, but for where we're at, it did, where I think I've got almost 200 ER on him, so nothing is hard debuffed him yet. But yeah, take note of your units, take note of, who are your big damage dealers, and find those out, and try to build comps around those big damage dealers. I have a lot of scribble on my notepad from this Ancient Inheritance. And I mean, to counting tiles, to writing teams down, to figuring out anything I possibly could to help give me a slight edge in the fight. Now, also, to note, for floor 4, not only did you have to clear the 4 wardens, which is also what this is for, it shows you what your objectives of the floor are. You have to clear the 4 wardens, we have to kill the normal boss, which we will do, but then there is the hard mode boss, which we will not have time or damage to do, unfortunately. I may not go full send into this to see what some other people do, so that if we do get a chance at it, I've still got some pretty heavy hitting teams, but I'm pretty sure he's tankier than this dude. We don't have the time. Okay, so let's talk about the good. The good of this is, I really like the content. I like the fact that it's interactive. Everybody's had a very positive response to this content so far. Everyone's enjoyed getting to work together and getting to actually work on objectives and things like that. The rewards are amazing. They really, really are. Being able to get 88 gear and have a actual not troll substats on these things, because normally when they do arena gear, everything's got ER on it. Now, for somebody like me, I don't mind it, but there are people out there who swear off ER. Now, yes, when it comes down to chest plates and things like that for for damage units, you typically want crit chance and crit damage on it. But they refuse to do that in arena gear because that's going to be too good, because it's going to have, whether it be a speed stat, it's going to typically have a defensive stat, so HP or defense, and then a crit chance. And they don't want to give you the crit damage stat because that would be too good to be able to have all of those. But in this case, for Soul Weaver gear, which is what this is, or it's just speed contestant gear, it's really good. 5 speed is the max starting roll, by the way, of speed. That's actually legit. I've seen some 20 speed pieces out of this. I've also seen people brick hard into effectiveness, which really is painful, which makes me think that this is seeded. Let me do this real quick. I have to get to floor 4. Thanks. I've been trying to do that for a couple days. All right. So, other good things. I like how the class system is done, where we can take heroes that aren't leveled up. It allows you, the new players, or us veterans who don't invest into absolutely everything, or don't have time to be able to actually go. Now, there are whales out there who have most all this stuff decked out, and they are able to do better. But to be able to take a 4-star hero that I have not and would not normally level up, have maxed out, but is really great for this content. Kawazu's really good in this Warrior Soul Weaver setup. He's really good. He has a defense break on his S3. That's really, really good. And then he also has a chance on his S1 to defense break. So that's a really neat concept that we can bring in some units that we normally wouldn't have access to if this was just a normal type system, and you, the new player, can actually benefit from it. This is really great. This is such an amazing thing that they didn't just leave you guys out. Because honestly, I think that would have been one of my biggest gripes, is that new players who have a very limited pool, as you can see, I've got 26 heroes. I could still keep bringing in warriors. If I really wanted to, we can click here, and I can still bring in all of these warriors right here. I have many more to go. So it's not like I'm short on them. I've got most of them. But that's the cool thing. If they aren't leveled up, they will be when I bring them in here. So very good thing here. I really do like the relic system. Keep that up. That's really good. The loot is good. Especially the guild loot, getting extra leaves. Supposedly there's molas and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's on this floor, but we don't have the time to explore this at all. So unfortunately, we won't get to see if there are any in any of the guild chests that are probably hidden around in the corners that we haven't gotten to. But let's talk about the bad, where it went wrong, because I don't think this is it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say, it's one of two things. It's not long enough if this is how it's going to consistently be. Because we, as Plot Hunter, have 26 near all active members. All of us kind of know what we're doing. We coordinate on Discord, and we are down to 20 hours left, right there. 20 hours left to be able to do this boss fight. We didn't get to enjoy the dungeon and get to roll through this and try to explore or anything like that. It was mostly, we got to kind of do floor 1 that way, but really around floor 2, we started getting a little bit deeper. By floor 3, it took coordination, and it's a lot bigger map by the time you get to 3. It takes a lot more time to do. We do not have enough time to do this. 3 weeks is the minimum this event needs to be if it's going to stay in its current state, so that more guilds have the ability to. For the average guild, most players are just now beating or getting to floor 3. Some are just now getting to floor 4 today. And this is me talking to my friends from stream, and they're saying, yeah, my guild's just got to floor 4 last night. They can't clear that. You don't have the stamina to go to the 4 corners, defeat the wardens, and come back to defeat this guy today. You don't. Not today. So here's where I think the change could happen to maybe, if they want this to happen in 2 weeks, here's what needs to happen. The system of teleporting is a good idea, but here's where it failed. before the wardens are dead, you cannot teleport anywhere in here. You have to kill the wardens on the entire floor before you can teleport. Here's what should be allowed, and I think this will be better. Whenever you spawn in, you have to walk up and activate the teleporter near where you're at. So you have to physically come over. It costs no currency, but you have to hit activate, which now also makes exploring advantageous, so that somebody who's exploring can activate teleports. Now, here's where it technically is only allowed. Only once a warden has been dropped can you actually teleport to those activated teleports. So this becomes able to teleport once this warden's down. Now, why is this advantageous? It's because now it allows me to come from, say, here, who I took care of this one, but let's say up here, as the case really was, top left was struggling. So I could teleport. If somebody had activated this teleport, I can click that teleport, and now I've just saved an entire day's worth of stamina. I can probably still come up here and help them out. So giving us the ability to have a warp that is not directly related to the boss would be a lot more helpful to the overall community. So that's my main suggestion for that. I think that would help make the time frame of 2 weeks justified. This would allow more smaller guilds who have good quality members but just don't have the mass amount to be able to zerg each one of these things to actually ball zerg it. You could do this in 2 weeks, absolutely, if you had the teleports. The teleport doesn't cost an exorbitant amount if we're gonna have active teleports. Don't make it cost a ton. I think 5 already might be a little much, but 5 stamina versus the 45 it's gonna take to come over here is a small price to pay. So having the ability to warp and have somebody having to go around and click up teleports would be a good strategy. Because in this case, if nobody activated this teleport right here, I couldn't warp to it. I'd have to warp to this one. So it makes strategically getting these things found out and the least path of resistance to get to these wardens would make a lot of sense. But again, this is Gen 1 of this. I'm not going to give them too much of a hard time, but there are some things that need to be done. Now, the actual teleport system itself is absolutely awful. Now, I do not want to waste stamina going to one of these teleporters. You have to be right next to it to use it. But right now, it's just left-right. It's annoying. Just let us scroll through a map and click on the icon and let us teleport to it. The left-right thing, again, user interface, micro issue, that's really my thing. It bugs me. Just let me be able to click on the spot. I've played many games that have teleports. Just let me find it on the map, let me click it and go to it. Instead of scroll, 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 scroll. Are we there yet? Darn, I can almost walk there faster than I did scrolling through these. Obviously, the smaller the floors, it's less of an issue. The bigger the floor, the more teleports, obviously. So, and also, you could accidentally teleport to the wrong one, and you've wasted 5 walking stamina. Yeah, I mean, we're crying over spilt milk. Yes, I get it, but I don't think this is the system. It could be done better. I think this is also tuned in terms of this is only tuned for high-end guilds. I'll be honest, with 30 members and even decent coordination at the current state of how this is done, with everybody even coming in, at this point with no knowledge, we couldn't have done this with 30 members. We could not have completely downed this. Now, having the knowledge, as long as they don't change any mechanics, we might, with 30 members, if now knowing exactly how to do this, we might be able to down the hard mode boss. But to give the overall community who doesn't communicate on Discord or anything like that, because this takes a good bit of coordination, this ping system is not good enough. To be able to come in here and do these basic pings we had to create in the early stages of, the way we did it was, each row was so top and bottom was counted as one row, was either, it was the team, and there is loot, or you need to grab this for the team. So it was kill this monster, and you need to check this point out. So it was either a camp or a relic or something like that along the way. And each team used it that way. That's how we used our pings once we decided, okay, we need the ping system. So it was able to say, go to star, go to this, go to that. Oh, you need to grab this along the way. It gave us the ability to do that. But I think the ping system could technically be done a little bit better, or maybe more of them. I'm not sure what necessarily needs to be done here, but I think they need to look at this a little bit more in depth. Because it's a cool idea. Maybe another row or two of these would be great. Now, I mean, that means a lot of pinging, but the one more set of these would even be great. I could live with one more set. So instead of, you know, shapes, give us numbers. So this way it's 2 different types of sets, so we can talk about 2 totally different concepts, and we can figure it out from there. The other bad that I really kind of wanted to point out was a lot of the content in here feels useless. Half these mobs in here are absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. There's no reason for half these mobs to be here. If they want us to go around and explore and kill things and do all these other little events, we need more time, or we need more stamina. That's the next thing I want to talk about. The daily stamina is absolutely crap, especially if it's 2 weeks. This needs to be looked at again on the next one. You start out with only 50 provisions day 1. And you will only get 50% provisions if you don't level up day 1. Now, it was pretty easy to level up, and I think most of us were level 3 day 1. I think we were somewhere between 2s, 3s, and I think even somebody got to 4. But being able to only get that few provisions day 1 on the start event is a little crap. I think, personally, the balance would be maybe split the difference. Give us, if it's going to be 50 as the starting, start us with 75. This way we can explore, we can check things out, we can go look around the dungeon, or if not, you've actually got to be pretty picky with where you go, because you can't do a lot, you can't loot a lot, you can't kill a lot. The smaller the map, it was easier. As the map started expanding, only having this was down to mathematically calculating exactly each tile I was going to. So there needs to be a little more leeway. So whether it's just an overall general bump to it, so instead of it being 50, we start with 60. Because, I mean, if you think about it, that's only going to be 2 chests. Chests, I think, cost 5 stamina to open. So that's only 2 extra chests you're getting to open day 1. Not that, again, the first map was super small. You could travel that thing really easily. But as these maps got bigger, this floor 4, 50 stamina in a day was not enough. I burned it in one day just getting down to where I needed to go. So that could definitely change. The other thing that I think absolutely needs to change, as I mentioned here earlier, is the enlist function. It's missing, like I said now, but this definitely needs to change. This needs to state that it needs to reset weekly or daily and less of it. I'll go there. You get 2 a day, every day, or you get 1 a day, every day. Something. Do something else, or make sure you completely put it in. It's for the event only. A lot of people just didn't pay attention to it. Thankfully, I did. I caught on to it real quick that I noticed it didn't refresh day 2 because I was like, this unit is trash in here, and I pulled him out. And then in the next day, I still had the same amount of stamina. So, note that. But yeah, that one change I think also caught a lot of people off guard, and I think they could improve that. I think anything now, just to wrap up, the things that I really want to go over is just to say for the next event. For anybody who's wanting to start prepping, just think about your units. Start learning what your units' kits do. That's a big concept here, is the people who did better in this knew what their kits did. They knew their units. They knew how to pair things up. Start learning about more units that you have. You don't need to know only what your Wyvern team does or the one PvP team you use. Start learning what these other units are, because as I've been preaching for a very long time, a lot of the units here have a lot of diversity, and you could probably beat more things if you knew more about their kits. Now, is it going to work on everything every time? No. But understanding the overall units that you completely own will help you come up with cool team comps, especially when this type of event rolls around, to really be able to come up with some really unique builds. And I would have never thought to start using Kawazu, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm pretty sure Kawazu is oh hey, live on the spot, it's reset. Oh snap. Bonus video time. Let's go see how nasty this thing is. Oh, snap. Confirm. I was about to wrap up, but because we've got it, you guys are going to get the first sneak peek. Twitch would have normally been the one to see this, but you guys, YouTube, are going to get to see it first. So here we go. Let's jump in and take a swing at this nasty dude. Thank gosh I still have all my teams. So we are going to make sure that nothing changed in his stats. So let's see here. That's still poisoning. That's still sealing and decreased defense. This is attacks all enemies. So that's still decreasing attack. This is still the instant kill and for the revive instant kill. Okay. So we are going to take... We're going to do Sirmia. I can't believe you guys are actually going to get to see this. Fire Kawazu. Yeah. Fire Kawazu. Let's see. I need to be careful with using Dilibet because I want to make sure that I may have a better comp. Let's go ahead and take Judge Kisei to this. And the reason why I'm only using her is for the S1 defense break. And Soul Weavers. I'm going to burn Shooting Star Acades. Because I can go bring in Acades here in a minute. Okay, so this is going to have Gab. We're not going to be able to cleanse anything, so passives are void here. She's got all two skills, basically, and then his passive is going to be void, but that's fine. I don't need it. Basically, defense breaks and damage is what we're going to do here. Oh, crap. She's on her wrong exclusive equipment. That's going to stink. Alright, so we're going to S1 here with Jugs because I want to try to get the defense break up in case it does just that. It is resisted, so we're going to do the S1 here. Please, defense break. Nope. Alright, I can already tell this is doing more damage. We're going to S1 here. We're going to S3. Please, defense break. We desperately need it. There we go, defense break. Go ahead and use Jugs' biggest skill. Just to get the skill null up so that she doesn't take damage here. There's the seal. Not an issue. There's our Gab. Oh my gosh. And Sirmia is only going to live this turn, so we're going to burn it. This dude hits a lot. This dude hits a lot harder. Dispels all buffs from the caster target. Yeah, we're going to try to keep you in the fight. One more turn is all I'm after. Oh my gosh, that's still gonna probably kill. Yeah, so I normally use the second exclusive equipment to... So it's going to grant immortality.
Twinkle, twinkle. I shall honor you with
Yeah, so we get one more hit with her.
I'll hug you tight.
Cool. And we're dead. Oh my gosh, I only did 200k that round.
Fortune on victory. You owe me one now. What fool dares to challenge me? Can you hold out?
Oh, we're gonna do about 300. So there you go. This is hard mode's version, and dear lord, I only did 350k. Oh, this is so savage. All right, so there you go. You got to see actually here happen live on the YouTube video. Hard mode. Oh my god, I'm scared. Please send help. Take me with you. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys for watching this extremely long video about Ancient Inheritance. I'll try to give you guys timestamps, which you probably won't know about, but if you did watch the whole video, you know that I put timestamps in here for you and try to make this as best as possible set up. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching the video. I want to give you guys just a basic overview and general overview and my thoughts and how things went so that we can now compare notes when the next Ancient Inheritance shows up. My goal is to make another video when it comes out, and we're going to compare and see what we can change. Is there anything different, or do we roughly run the same strategy? But we'll give you a quick overview guide then on the new Ancient Inheritance when it shows up here in the future. Now, I'm not even going to say near future. It's probably next quarter. So we'll see you guys as far as Ancient Inheritance goes next summer, or this summer. Yeah, this summer. All right, guys. See you in the comments.